Hey everyone and welcome to my Changli guide. So Changli just got released and she's just so fun to play, so I want to make a video about her immediately. That being said, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so first of all, let's cover what she can do. The first thing that we need to know is that she revolves around getting stacks. How do we get stacks? By entering the true sight mode. There are a few ways to enter the true sight mode and the easiest one is by just using the skill. Now, as you can see, we have the true sight for 12 seconds, and if we do the heavy attack, and if we do a jump, she will do this one. So that's pretty much it, but there are other ways to get it. The first one is by just completing a 4 attacks thing. See? We get the true sight, and another way is by just doing the intro skill. She will automatically enter the true sight mode. Now what happens when we have 4 stacks? First of all, she becomes Gojo, and then she can do this attack, which, as you can see, deals a lot of damage. Also, another way to get the full stacks is by using the ultimate, which will immediately regenerate 4 stacks. And the animation is also cool as fuck. See, now we have 4 stacks. And it's that easy. Like, her whole gameplay is just try to get the stacks by doing a lot of cool attacks that are just always different. Like, you can decide to do a mid-air combo, so that's pretty cool. See, she becomes a phoenix and goes on the field. Then you can do this, and she gets already 2 stacks. Another easy combo to get 2 stacks is just this one. You throw it in the air with the basic attack, and then you spam the basic attack. See? Now you have 2 stacks. So while at first she looks pretty complicated, she really isn't. Also, it's better to use the teleport instead of the phoenix as the follow-up, because it deals a bit more damage and it increases 1 energy more, which isn't a lot, but it's still worth notating. Now for the weapons, she has a few options, and the best one is by far the Blazing Brilliance, of course, because it's the signature weapon. It's very strong, its main stat is crit damage, and it increases the attack by 12% as the base effect. Also, you can gain a lot of stacks by it, up to 14, and each stacks increases your resonance skill damage by 4%, and you can easily get it, so you will probably always get a 56% skill damage bonus. Otherwise, another very powerful pick is the Emerald of Genesis. It's very powerful because its crit rate as the main stat increases the energy regen, which is something that Changli really needs. It also increases the attack up to 2 times when you use the skill, and she uses the skill a lot of times, so it's another perfect weapon for her. Otherwise, you can use the Looming Gloss, which increases your basic and heavy attack damage by 20% when you use your skill, and it lasts for 10 seconds, which is very nice. And lastly, you have the Command of Conviction, which increases your attack by 15% for 15 seconds when you use your intro skill. But if you don't have any of these weapons, you can just use the Guardian Sword, which is a 3-star, and it increases your resonance skill damage by 12%, so it's not very good because the main stat is HP, and even if she's fragile, you should always prioritize crit and attack. As for the Echo set, if you want her to be a main DPS, always go for 5 pieces Molten Rift, and as the main Echo, the Inferno Rider. It's very self-explanatory, and most importantly, it increases her fusion damage by 30% after using the skill. But if you want her to be a sub DPS, then use 5 pieces Moonlit Clouds, because it increases her energy regen by 10%, and also when you switch characters, it will increase the next character's attack by 22.5% for 15 seconds. And lastly, if you don't have neither, then you can use just 2 pieces Molten Rift and 2 pieces Lingering Tunes, which is not very good because 5 pieces Molten Rift is very powerful, but if you still don't have 5 pieces, just use that one. It's not very good, but it's not that bad either, so don't worry. Overall, it's very nice that she's both a main and sub DPS, because you can use both sets. It's very cool that you can just put both a Moonlit Clouds and Molten Rift without making her playstyle be more clunky. And as for the cost pattern, as usual, go for 3311. I feel like I should not even say the cost pattern anymore, because every single character in the game has a cost pattern of 43311, but I'll keep saying this for the new viewers. For the 4 cost, give him crit, for the 3 cost fusion damage, and for the 1 cost attack percent. As for the substats, always go for crit over energy regen and then skill damage bonus. After that, you can go attack percent. but you don't need to be so picky about it. Like if you have energy regen, skill damage bonus or attack percent, they are all very good for her. Now we have the Forte priority. So the best one that you should always upgrade is the resonance skill. Always. The skill is incredibly important because it upgrades the attack that both Conquest and Charge deal. Then we have the Resonance Liberation, which is just the damage because it doesn't increase the enhanced heavy attack, it's just the damage the Resonance Liberation deals, but as you can see the scaling is very high. So you should always upgrade the Liberation for second, but right after that you have to upgrade the Forte, because the Forte is also incredibly important and it's the damage you deal when you have 4 stacks. It deals a lot of damage, the scaling is also pretty good, so you should also upgrade this. Basically, you should upgrade the majority of this. Maybe you can upgrade the normal attacks a bit less, and the intro skill you can just ignore it because it's not powerful, it's pretty much useless. As for the stat bonuses, always get the crit rate because it's crazy how she can get 8% crit rate by just doing the stat bonuses, and also the attack stuff. He gets 12% attack by just doing the basics, so it's very good. And both of her skills are broken, like it's crazy how powerful they are. So when you use the follow-up, which is either the teleport or the phoenix, she will get a 5% fusion damage bonus based on how many stacks you have. So when you're finishing a combo and you have 3 stacks, you will get a whopping 15% damage bonus, which is crazy. And this one is even better, you get fusion damage bonus and she ignores 15% of the defense of your enemies. So it's very powerful. In general, you should upgrade everything, like actually everything, but the priority is skill, liberation, forte, normal attack and intro skill. The only thing you could avoid are normal attacks by a bit and intro skill in general, which is pretty bad. And yes, in Wuthering Waves I'm a pretty much new player, so I didn't have a lot of time to farm and stuff like that. So sorry for the underleveled stuff, but these tips work for everyone of course, so don't worry. Now it's time to talk about the teams, and I've been very surprised the first time I saw her outro skill, because it basically means that she can be a very good sub DPS for a pyro character. But first of all, let's cover her main role, which is the main DPS. So the best team for her is her, Yinlin and Verina. I mean, this was obvious, like Verina is by far the strongest healer in the game, Yinlin the strongest sub DPS in the game, but if you don't have Yinlin and Verina, you can just use Yangyang and Baiji, because Yangyang is surprisingly very good when you have some of her wave bands, and I have like 6 of them. Also because Changli needs a lot of energy, and Yangyang is very strong at recovering her teammates' energy. Also, a healer is very needed this time because Changli doesn't have a lot of HP, so she really needs to be protected. But also another very cool team that I can think of is Encore, Changli as the sub DPS and Verina, so that Changli can upgrade the liberation and fusion damage of Encore and will make her even more busted. Another very cool and budget-friendly team is using Chixia instead of Encore and Baiji. Like, I really need to test it out because I've always liked Chixia, but now that Changli can boost up the resonance celebration damage of Chixia, which is by far the strongest thing she's good at, and also her fusion damage, this makes Chixia a bit stronger in the tier list. Otherwise, if you don't have a Yangyang with a lot of wave bands, you can just use Sanhua, which is pretty good, but Yangyang is way better. Okay, now let's talk about the sequence nodes. The first one is mediocre. Like, it's pretty good because it increases the skill and heavy attack damage, but by 10%, which is not that much. Like, it's pretty good, but nothing in particular. Like, you're fine very well without it. The second one is just, okay, how do I put it? 25% crit rate? It's very good. Next up, the third one. It's also very stupid. I swear to god, some of these abilities are just very stupid. Resonance liberation damage plus 80%. Very good. Very good. The fourth one is pretty bad though. I don't get what it's supposed to do. It doesn't increase her own attack, but her teammates, and she's a character who really relies on rotations, like she does some pretty long combos, so by the moment you switch your characters, most of her buff is already expired, and it doesn't seem very good. However, if you want to play play her as a sub DPS, it's a pretty solid buff, but for the 4th wave band it's really not worth it. The 5th one is very powerful because it increases the heavy attack damage by a lot. If you want it, it's very powerful. It's very solid, that's the thing. Like most of the wave bands just straight up increase her stats by a lot, like it's some pretty straightforward stuff. And the last one is by far the best one because all of her true sight stuff and the boosted heavy attack will ignore 40% of the defense of your enemies, which is just crazy. So of course the last one is broken, but the best ones are by far the second one. The second one is just crazy. The third one is also very powerful. The 5th one is very solid and pretty good, and the last one is broken. Should you get them? The fact that the first one is not very good is a bit of an obstacle, but if you want you can pull up to the second one, because the second one is broken. So yeah, maybe like get one from the shop and pull for the second one, but she's so broken even without them. So should you pull for her? Absolutely. Immediately, just pull for her right now. I don't give a shit, you have to pull for her. She's just amazing. She's the best character ever, I love her so fucking much. You have to pull for her. She's amazing in the design, she's amazing in the personality, and most importantly, her gameplay is amazing. She can be both a main DPS and a sub DPS, and she has a lot of playstyles. You can do the teleport, you can do the phoenix, you can fight while flying, and you can just fight normally. She has a lot of ways to deal a lot of damage by getting the Forte, and just deals a lot of damage by herself. And the fact that you can use her skill 2 times in a row is very nice. So you should absolutely pull for her without any second thought. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, because recently I noticed that my channel is starting to get some more recognition and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for your support, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!